Welcome to Local Matters. Today we begin with Jeff Hills, the owner of Healthy Appetites Natural Foods in Plymouth, a family-owned store that specializes in healthy foods and supplements. Julie Thompson invited Jeff via Zoom to discuss some natural ways we can keep ourselves and our loved ones healthy through the pandemic. Julie?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hi, Jeff Hills. How are you?
How are you? It's great to be on with you again.
It's been so long. I'd love to have a chat with you. Let's first talk about you have a brick and mortar facility, and this must have been really tough for you. Can you talk about what has happened with your business since COVID?
You know, we've had to deal with the same things that a lot of other retailers had to deal with. Of course, the social distancing markers on the floor so people can space themselves 6 feet apart. We've had to learn how to do curbside pickup, which is something we did not do in the past. We're shipping a lot more than we ever have. But, you know, we're dealing with a lot of the same things other people are dealing with. We were very, very busy prior to the shutdown. And we've been a little slower since, but things are ramping back up. We have hand sanitizer at the register for people who have touched the pen on the credit card machine, things like that. There's been really minor changes. We, of course, try to hand sanitize and wash our hands as much as we can. There's the whole mask thing, which is a unique challenge for people who have to wear it for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
But it's you know, I'm glad that we're an essential business. We managed to stay open the entire time.
Yeah.
So we haven't, really closed. We are kind of dealing with the double whammy in that not only are we dealing with COVID, but we had just moved our store from our location on Long Pond Road, where we had been for 20 years,
right,
to a location in Camelot Park. So, going from, Long Pond Road to, Raphael Road in the Camelot Park was a big move for us, even though it's right around the corner.
Sure.
So we've had to deal with a couple of things. It's been very challenging.
But you're up to it. So among the things that you sell at your store are natural foods and products that are considered natural and or organic. Can you talk about that and labeling and what you look for? Because it's kind of confusing still to a lot of people.
In regard to natural versus organic, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, organic is a specific thing that's been defined. It's now a designation that's controlled by the government, where they have set a certain set of rules as far as what you can use in regard to fertilizers and pesticides in the growing of plants, and similar things in regard to livestock. And I think we've seen our industry evolve from the designation natural, which doesn't really have a lot of meaning in regard to the products that we sell. A lot of things are referred to as natural that aren't all that natural. I think in our channel, you're going to see a lot less of that. Our sales channel,
right,
the natural retail channel. We focus a lot on the organic because it is a specific defined thing, and
sure, people
know what they're getting with organic.
And that's the point, is you want them to know what they're getting, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, I think, with the organic movement was to keep the things plopping out of the ground as close to how they came out as possible.
Right.
So, adding less things and, preserving them with less things, I think are important to people. People want to know what's in their food. They want their food to be their food.
Right. So, Jeff, people are really concerned about their health, and especially now, and boosting their immunity, as well as trying to get something to help them with their stress. So what would you suggest for supplements, or how do supplements play a big part in both boosting immunity and dealing with stress?
Well, I'll do the immunity part first. I think it would be wise for people during this upcoming COVID round 2, I think we're going to see in the fall. I think it would be smart for people to do vitamin D. Vitamin D doesn't have any direct impact on immune system, but without vitamin D, you can't make these things called antimicrobial peptides that go around and damage various bacteria and viruses, and they make your body better able to deal with them. So I think vitamin D is vital. I think probiotics are vital. The majority of your immune system is the bacteria in your gut, so it's an important thing to keep up with. Specifically for COVID, we've seen some good results with elderberry. We've talked about elderberry on PAC a bunch of different times.
Yes.
It's a great antiviral, and it has been shown to be specifically effective against COVID. Something that we don't see as much of as far as immunity goes is something called quercetin. Quercetin is typically used for things like allergies. It's a great antihistamine. It's something that makes you make less histamine, but it's been shown to be very, very effective for COVID. There was a study done in Switzerland where they used quercetin. They used between 500 and 1,000 milligrams. They used between 550 and 100 milligrams of zinc, which I think is very, very important. I think those things would be great to use, whether you're doing, any sort of pharmaceutical cocktail or not. I think it would be wise for people to do the zinc and to do the quercetin. Vitamin C, of course, is something else that's been shown to work on other, types of coronavirus. So I think that would be a great thing to do too. Something to keep in mind, you mentioned stress, would be there is an herb called lemon balm, which is a great anti-stress herb, and it's also an antiviral. So that would be a great thing to do because it's going to address two things during this pandemic. Other things I think people would do well with is there's an herb called holy basil. I think that's a great herb for calming. Chamomile is a great mild sedative herb that you can use with children and older people who may be using other things. So I think that there's a lot of things we can do to address stress. There's a product called GABA. GABA is an amino acid. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it kind of tells your body and your brain to stop doing things. So you stop doing things like obsessing. So I think that's a great thing for a lot of people. Just for what it's worth, vitamin D also is important for stress because you need vitamin D to produce serotonin. Right. So that is a great thing to help you feel more grounded, is a higher serotonin level. So I think that any of those things could be helpful for people.
So there's a number of supplements that can be taken for both boosting immunity and for helping you cope with your stress. Excellent. Absolutely. All right. As always, Jeff, you've been wonderful, just a bevy of information, and I'm sure we'll speak to you again. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Julie. Maybe we can do this in person next time.
That would be wonderful. Okay. Bye, Jeff. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Julie and Jeff. To learn more about healthy appetites, visit their website or Facebook page.